Welcome to this episode of Movement is Mandatory, where we're going to talk all about the best way to prep for your squats using just your body weight. So today we're going to focus on 3 different movements. We're going to go through 2 rounds of these movements to make sure you're ready to go for whatever type of squat workout you're doing today. So let's get ready to move. All right, guys, so super excited about today's workout and prep work for squatting. We're gonna go through 3 different movements. We're gonna work through some different hip mobility. We're gonna work through some different lunge and some different squat movements that are gonna really help prep your system, both from a mobility standpoint, but also from a neurological brain to muscle connection as well. So let's get started. The first movement we're gonna do are these hip rock backs. Now, what's specific about these is we're going to be in a slightly more internal rotated position of the hip, which is going to really help allow us to get better glute firing during our squats. So all you're going to do for this is you're going to have your knees outside your hips and your feet outside of your knees, and you're just going to rock back. We're going to do 15 of these, and we're just trying to rock back through as much range of motion as our system will let us go through without letting our legs move. So in this position, I'm still keeping my weight on my big toes. I'm not letting my knees move in terms of going in and out. They're staying in that same position. And I'm just trying to rock back as much as I can. Now, one thing, just to change angle so you can see this side, one thing I do want you to also focus on with this is keeping your abs engaged, your belly button tight, belly button towards spine. Because what that's going to do is that's going to allow you to turn off more of those hip flexors to get through a little bit more of that range of motion. And with this, we're not trying to hold it. We're just trying to hit that end range of tissue and then get back to a neutral spot. We're going to do 2 more reps. And we're going to move on to the next lunge movement. So in this lunge, this is going to be a lunge where my knee is right underneath my hip. I'm going to tuck my hips underneath me, and then I'm going to drive forward or drive my hips forward. This is where I'm getting an active release of some of that lateral quad hip flexor tissue, but also I'm getting some good tension through the back side of this cheek in that back pocket that is going to allow me to get some good glute firing during my squats. And again, we're just trying to rock forward. We're on rep 4, so we're going to do about 15 of these on each side. And we're just trying to get to a point of that tissue where we really kind of hit that end range. We're not forcing it. We're just getting there, hanging out for a second, and coming out. And as you can see, I'm kind of retucking every time, just trying to get a little bit more of that tuck, because that tuck's super important. We'll do about 5 more reps. This tuck's important because it really helps to lock in the pelvis, so we really get that isolation through the hip. We got 1 more rep. And then we'll switch sides. And I'll show you from this side. The other big thing with this is that we're driving straight forward. Everything's in a line. We're not trying to avoid this hip at all or this way. We're trying to keep everything in a good just position where everything is just staying forward. The other big thing is that I'm keeping good connection with my feet to the floor. I'm feeling my foot to the floor in the front with that big toe. I'm keeping that big toe locked on the back side as well as I go through this range. And that's going to help with that brain to muscle connection in making the ability to drive down through your feet when you squat so much more effective. So one of the main things I see when people come in to see me and having squat issues, hip tightness, back pain, whatever it is that they've lost this connection with the floor with their feet. And that's why I like doing a lot of this work barefoot or with a minimalist shoe so that I can really make that connection with the floor. Let's get 1 more rep. And then we're going to move to the next movement, which is the Cossack squat. So what we're going to do is get our legs super wide. Our toes are pointed out at a 45, And what we're going to do is we're going to come down to that left side, keeping our knee inside of our foot and driving back up, and vice versa. The key with keeping your knee inside of your foot is that's going to also help increase that hip mobility. You're going to feel some stretch through the thighs, but this is going to really help get those glutes to fire versus if that knee goes out. And if your foot is pointed out a little bit more, it makes it easier to keep that knee in. We're going to do about 6 more reps to each side. One of the other things you can focus on is keeping those lower abs engaged as you go through this. And as you can see, the opposite side that I go to, my toes come up, so I can really isolate the side that I'm trying to work. So abs tight, keeping the pressure on the inside of the foot, and pushing back up. We'll get 2 more. Trying to get a little bit further each rep that we do. And just keeping everything square in front. So let's go through that one more time. So we're going to go back to those rock backs. So again, knees outside of hips, feet outside of knees. And just trying to get through as much of that range as you can. You're going to get about 10 more reps. And this is where you want to keep your heels elevated towards the floor. As I rock back, I don't want my heels to go in. My heels stay towards the floor the ceiling. My heels stay towards the ceiling each rep that I do. We get 2 more, keeping those abs tight, working through more of that tissue. Then we're going to pop right up into those lunges. So again, big toe tucked, front foot down, tuck the hips, drive forward. Going to get about 10 of these. And moving a little bit faster because this is meant to be a warm-up. This is meant to get our tissue working. So if we speed up while still under control, then our system also speeds up. So this helps create that better neural connection brain to muscle so that it's ready as we put load or intensity onto our system, whether you're going to do loaded barbell squats or if you're doing your boot camp, whatever it is. This will help with all of it. 2 more reps. And at this point, you should be getting through a little bit more of that range of motion with each rep that you do. Big toe stays down. We've switched to the other side. Making good connection with the floor. On both sides, I still feel that big toe on the back. Everything stays nice and squared. I feel I keep a good tuck with my hips. Just working through that tissue. Do 3 more reps. Making sure I'm feeling all those connections. All right, last round, 10 more Cossack squats. So what we're gonna do from here, still wide, toes pointed out, coming down, knee inside a foot, driving up. Now on this time, I'm gonna try to also speed up as I come back up. So again, we're prepping that neurological system to be ready for this sympathetic response, this fight or flight that we get into when we do exercise. When we get things more intense, we get more resistance. Still making that good connection inside the foot, big toe, driving up. My abs are staying tight. I'm getting through as much of that range of motion as my system will let me. Last rep. Big toe down, drive. Big toe down, drive. Perfect, guys. All right, go ahead and take a squat. See how that feels, how you can make that good connection with your toes to the floor, and how smooth it feels, how that mobility is there. Your hips are now unlocked. You feel good connection with your feet. You are ready to squat. I appreciate you guys for watching this video. Please like, share, subscribe to our channel. We're putting out a lot of great content when it comes to movement, warm-ups, pain relief, all of it. We'll see you guys in the next video, and thank you for making movement mandatory.